You got Grogu back there just forcing.
I got 2 Grogus and Lego Anakin and Obi-Wan that I haven't built yet because I like looking at the box.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power.
Yeah, shout out to this tiki. Jasmine's brother bought me it. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It looks like hand painted and stuff.
That's awesome, man. You know what I realized I was supposed to do originally? Play the damn intro.
When stories are told brilliantly, opinions are viewed differently. We bring them all together when you get this great soliloquy. When Trinity leaves Affinity, our co-host eyes left Mr. Lee. We present you with another round of the Trilogy of Trilogies.
I think you should make a new one of those for every time we do Trilogy of Trilogies.
I don't wanna, man. I might update it though. Like, you know me, I'm obsessive about it being perfect.
So here we go. This is our final. This is our trilogy wrapping up here, leading into WandaVision. And today we're basically going to be discussing everything that happens with Wanda and Vision in Infinity War and Endgame. A lot more happens in Infinity War. And then, at the end, we'll fan theory it up. We'll give you our little fun discussion and preview predictions for WandaVision, where the first 2 episodes, we're going to have 2 episodes to discuss next week, drop on Friday. I'll be watching after with Jasmine because she actually likes Marvel and she's excited for this. And I'm to watch it with someone.
We're switched. I get to watch it first thing in the morning. Oh, happy days.
We are officially reversing roles, and now I have to wait to watch it with someone, and Thomas does not.
You're just gonna get so many things of me screaming into the phone at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right. So let's dive in to Infinity War, which was arguably the best MCU movie ever so far. Either of these 2 are the top for me. But rewatching Infinity War, it is a masterpiece. Like this, watching it again, I didn't watch Endgame. I sat there and thought, this is better than. I'm like, this is better than Endgame because I have a ranking of all the MCU movies. Endgame's my number 1. They're basically tied for me because story. They're Endgame's the big payoff, but Infinity War, I think beat for a movie and filmmaking wise, is probably better. It's a bit tighter and it's a long ass movie, and it's still it feels tight. It moves. The story's fantastic. The fact that they made Thanos a not likable.
He's the protagonist, bro.
It's his movie, and we care. Like we care about Thanos. And Gamora is one of the leading characters, and she's not a side character. She's one of the main characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. Just to think that the Thomas.
Why is Gamora?
To think that in 2013, when Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be coming out, and we're like, what is this? I've never read a Guardians comic. What's on? That Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the biggest pinnacle points of the culmination of the entire Infinity Saga. Anyway, let's get into the Wanda and Vision notes, because this Infinity War especially has some great Wanda and Vision moments that are going to lead directly into this show, no doubt about it. So here's the beginning of WandaVision. They've run off to Scotland. They've hidden away. Quick note: I just love the line.
You just unplugged
What's
from
up?
your thing. You just unplugged from your thing.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Technology. So yeah, we start off there in Scotland for 2 years. The Stone is actually speaking to Vision, and you know, he has this great scene there, which I don't remember. As I said, I did not rewatch Infinity War. I just watched The Legends, which is awesome as always. But it gives us for the first time Vision in human form, and all I could think was
awesome.
Paul Bettany's hair is beautiful.
Paul Bettany's a beautiful man. I love Paul Bettany. He's such a good actor. I want him in more stuff, honestly. I want him in like I've only seen him in, you know, as Vision, and then as what's his character's name in Solo. He's good in that as well.
Dryden Voss.
Maybe there's like a Voss in there. he's good in that. I want to see him in like some random movie on Netflix, like some chick flick. I feel like he'd be really good as.
Oh, okay. In that case, The Knight's Tale.
The Knight's Tale. Okay.
He's in that. Alan Tudyk's in that. Heath Ledger's in there.
Cool.
Dude, it is. Oh, it's such a good movie. I forget how good that movie is because it is so good.
Knight's Tale. All right.
A Knight's Tale or The Knight's Tale, one of the two. But yeah, no, all I can think every time I see Paul Bettany is him just cracking jokes to Alan Tudyk and then Alan Tudyk going, what? Because it's like, it's a Lance, hello. And then he's just like, oh, idiot. He's like, oh. Anyways, back to the plot.
So yeah, Paul Bettany in his human form as Vision is awesome to see. And I almost forgot about it where, WandaVision, we'll see what's happening in that show just on a realistic standpoint of like what's actually happening. Because that movie's going to be very like, this is part of a imaginative thing. And we don't really know, like, we're going to roll with this story, but what's actually happening once they pull back the curtain in that show, we'll kind of get a better look. But Vision's back, quote unquote. And here, seeing him in the human form, this is laying the fundamental ground for where Wanda is maybe getting these, visions of her own, the history in her head of these memories of her and Vision living a domestic life, a life together. They say in this, like, a really important part. This is the part I really wanted to focus on, Thomas, was Vision does not want to go back. They don't want to go back. They want to stay there and be a family. And like, there's that sweet moment where it's like, yeah, I think it works. Like, and it's like, yeah, it works. I just thought, what?
You said it, and I'm like, he didn't say it like that. This is why everyone loves Vision. Is this scene? He can't comprehend love and emotions, and so he. Like me, I think it works. Stumbles. I mean, if I'm just speaking for myself, I think it. And then she's like, it works. He's like, it works.
Yeah,
and it's just so like,
good.
You're so adorable, Paul.
It's such a sweet scene, and I'm so glad I rewatched just literally that moment for WandaVision, just because it reminded me of how cute they were, which is hilarious because he's an android. But in that moment, he's in his human form. You're not thinking about that. He's not green and red. And their relationship seems so strong at that time. And I think almost going through with it didn't sort of help that. And now they're like, they had this kind of deal with Cap and all of them, like kind of the exterior Avengers that are like outside the
secret Avengers.
Yeah, the secret Avengers
is what you were looking for.
Yeah. And there's that moment, obviously, when now I forget. I wrote aliens in the notes because I can never remember Thanos' henchmen when one of them stabs Thanos.
Yeah, it's Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive, I think, is the one that stabs him initially in the back. It's like, oh, that's like, it's almost like a jump scare moment where it's like, oh my gosh,
it's a jump scare. It freaked me out in the Legends episode. I knew it was coming, and it still got me.
And I mean, you see him turn back into form, and it's like unbelievable because to this point, Vision's like hasn't really been touchable except for when Wanda puts him in the ground in Civil War.
Yeah,
but especially like that where you normally like phase through it, and he's all beat up. And there's a cool action scene. It's funny. I noted that it's almost like them at their weakest at that point because he's been sliced, and Wanda is really having a hard time putting up a fight with these people, which is kind of surprising because we see how powerful she is later on. But she's she was thrown completely off guard. They're Thanos' henchmen or whatever you want to call them, the disciples. They're really strong beings. And my only issue was that when the secret Avengers, as he called them, come in, like Black Widow just like kicks their ass immediately. I'm like, what? Black Widow like has no problem, but Wanda was like struggling. Whatever.
Here's why Wanda was
a little tiny nitpick.
It's a little nitpick, but you gotta remember she's literally trying her best to save her lover's life, and she has not yet. Like, let's be real. Her entire power set is based off emotions.
True.
Okay? Like, the more pissed she is,
she's scared this time.
Yeah, and she's scared, and she's on the defensive, and she's got a strong amount of love that's just pure and defensive, but, like, she's also in a weird way, like, all right, I can hold these guys off. It is what it is, and if if things would have gone wrong and they would have killed Vision, I don't think they live. I think she incinerates them.
Yeah. So here we go.
So-
That's a good point because like I kind of saw on Ultron.
Yeah.
The stone warning Vision. I think you already touched on that. How the stone communicating with Vision and having these things is so fascinating to me. And I think in Infinity War and Endgame, it's one of my biggest that I've never really spoken on that I've always just thought. My biggest, it's not even that big of an issue. It's a little nitpick. All of the stones get devalued when they're all together. When like individually, they're so interesting, right? Like the Mind Stone communicating, and we see the Power Stone and Guardians like can take over worlds. Where when they're all together on the Gauntlet and they get all of them, you don't get those unique kind of look at them. They kind of feel, whereas in when you were there's one of them, it's like, oh my gosh, like that is a stone, the Time Stone. I'm not saying that them don't still have their unique traits and are like these really powerful entities. I'm just saying that when we get their individual moments, they seem so much more like, holy crap. And I think it would be more fascinating to explore them even more, even though we did so much, especially the newer ones, like the Soul Stone. I would like to see more of, right? Because that ability, we still don't really know. That's the most mysterious one, is the Soul Stone, because it was the last one. Well, no, not the last one he found, but it was the last one he knew where it was.
He learned about.
Exactly. And its ability was never used outside of one of these movies, whereas we saw the Tesseract, we saw the Time Stone and the Mind Stone. And the Mind Ether, exactly. And the Mind Stone is, it and the Tesseract are the two OG stones. Because they're both in the original Avengers, and we see the Mind Stone working, for good and for bad. And it's honestly maybe my most favorite stone, if that's even a thing, just because of how it's used in the Avengers.
The Mind Stone?
Yeah, just because it's in his staff, it's in Loki's staff, and that's its own thing. And then it goes in Vision's head, and that's just this. I mean, that creates Vision and it makes it unique, and it beams out. It's a really interesting thing that I think you kind of lose when it's all on the Gauntlet, just because they're all there, and it's really cool seeing. What's awesome is when you see Thanos using them in different ways. Even just the opening of Infinity War, when they wreck Asgard and kill Heimdall and kill Loki, and you see him destroy the ship, and then they're gone with the Space Stone. It's awesome. Yeah. The Mind Stone's unique. You don't see it much when it's on the Gauntlet because it's kind of hard to use that one. I feel like we never see it at all when it's on the Gauntlet. Like, wouldn't it have been cool if you touched someone and then all of a sudden they were like mind wiped? I don't know. I'm just nitpicking, but I really like the Mind Stone. I think it's really cool, and I like how they try to break it. Thomas, I'm babbling.
Make good points. I agree. I wouldn't say it's my favorite stone.
What's your favorite stone, Thomas? This is a random.
I don't even honestly.
Segment within a segment.
Honestly, let's be real. It's the Time Stone.
Time Stone. Okay, I thought you would have said Space Stone, Tesseract.
I almost went Space Stone because I would love to instantaneously transport my body to another place in time, and space. Technically, it's both because if you do it instantaneous, it's time moves on. But I mean, because of my love of time travel movies and time travel in general, I'd probably go with the Time Stone, just because. Like, which one would I prefer to have on me? The Space Stone.
Right.
I don't want the responsibility of dealing and fixing time. Not at all.
And they do. Okay, I'm gonna take it a little bit back. They do justice to the stones in a lot of ways. Like how Doctor Strange is like, I'm sworn to protect it, all this stuff. It's interesting how Loki has it at the end. He stole it from Asgard. It wasn't destroyed or whatever. And he's like, you really are the worst, brother. Thor says that. And there's all those good bits with it. We do get to the quick line where for the Power Stone, Thanos was like, he already went to oh my gosh, where the Nova Corps is, and grabbed the Power Stone and like decimated Xandar and grabbed the Power Stone. Like, we get that kind of throwaway line, but that's going. I just think these movies are. I mean, this film is just about capturing the stones as a Thanos perspective.
It's a effing heist film.
Yeah, we go from a heist film from Thanos' perspective, and then a time from the Avengers perspective. Just one. Russo's love heist.
I just realized that, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we are. Trilogy of trilogies.
Russo brothers, give me more heists.
Cherry. I don't know. Maybe heist.
That movie's everything.
I'm excited for that movie.
He's
Later
a
on-
bitch. He's a lover. He's a child. You don't get this because you were not alive.
I don't. Moving on in the film, kind of the next time we get back to Wanda and Vision is Vision realizes, oh, Wanda is what's capable of destroying the stone. Because at this point now in the movie, they know Thanos is coming. Ruffalo's Bruce Banner's back, and he's like, oh my gosh, Thanos is going to try to get all the stones. If he does, he's going to kill all of us. So Vision's very pro. We got to destroy the stone so Vision can never get it. Wanda does not want to do it. And that's basically that, where it's like the moment is Vision's like, we got to get this out of my head. We got to destroy it. Wanda's like, I don't know. Like, we don't want to do that. And that's going into Wanda. That's a good connection to think about, where like Wanda, like there's this whole discussion that happens, and it's a really where Mark Ruffalo is like, Vision is a very complex mixture of Ultron, Tony, the Stone, me, and it's like we can take it out, and probably most of them will still be there, but they go away from that because like Captain America is like, we're not gonna sacrifice one life to save others. We're not gonna sacrifice all these lives. And then Vision goes, well, how's this any different from back in the 40s when you landed the plane that was heading to New York with the bomb? It's a great scene. It's a great, story tie-in for the MCU. And it's a big debate where they probably should have just destroyed it right then in hindsight. But Wanda, if it hadn't been for the connection to Wanda, they may have. It's because we know Steve cares a lot about Wanda. We get that in Civil War. He's kind of like her big brother, kind of mentor kind of thing.
Take, bro. I like this take.
And if it wasn't for the Wanda connection, the WandaVision connection, they might have just been like, Vision, that's tough. Like, douche, we're getting it out of your head. Like, we're going to figure out a way to destroy it.
I think Cap would have still been against it.
I do. Yeah, I agree.
But everybody else would have been a little bit more like, maybe we do. And you can even see like Widow, she's like, we might have to do this. Like, this is gonna suck for all of us, but we genuinely might have to do this.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's like, we got to destroy the stone. And then
he's willing.
Here's my thing. Even Ruffalo Banner.
I know. I keep saying
I know. Even Banner was like, if we do remove the stone, then we could destroy the stone, and we still have Vision, and he should be able to withstand that. And it honestly is probably going to be the best parts of Vision.
Yeah, that's the cool part too, right?
That's why would they try to do it. And I love just the quick line of Shuri just asking, like, why didn't you just link them all into a singular network? And he's like, because we didn't think of that.
Vision's just
and it's like, and she's she's like,
just
like what are those? Like,
let's jump to that. So that scene ends where, I have an idea. I'm Captain America, and it cuts to Wakanda and getting Bucky back, and then later we get to Wakanda again with the Earth Avengers team in Infinity War.
Sound the alarms.
Shuri's trying, and because Shuri's this genius on like a Tony Stark style level. They're like, all right, Shuri can probably get it out. In Wakanda, they have all this crazy technology. Because that was the issue with getting the stone. Because they ended that first scene we spoke of with, all right, let's just try to get it out of his head and like play keep away, not destroy it, but get it out of Vision's head so he doesn't just kill Vision immediately, right?
Yeah.
Now they're trying to get it out of his head in Wakanda. It doesn't happen, right? They run out of time. It's over. Vision has to fight because the same, I forget,
Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive comes in to like the little laboratory that Shuri was working on, because if she had time, she would have been able to get it out. But it was a very tricky procedure, obviously, because the stone is, one, very powerful, and two, it's like keeping Vision alive. It's a main part of him, and it's a main part of his being. They run out of time. Obviously, for everyone that's seen Infinity War, which is I'm sure everyone watching this, the big fight happens. Thanos comes down eventually. Boom. And we get the awesome, I would say, impeccable moment of the movie. That's just beautiful and impeccable. It's so heartbreaking and such a great moment. That is honestly like, this movie is why they're making WandaVision for a lot of reasons, just because they're dynamic. And we get a big callback from the beginning where it's like, Wanda, it's time. They're defeated. Thanos is just wrecking shop, coming through their stones. It's time. She goes, no.
Can we act this out? Who do you want to be? You want to be Vision or do you want to be Wanda?
I'll be Wanda.
Okay. Wanda, it's time.
No.
They can't stop him, Wanda. But we can. Look at me. You have the power to destroy the stone.
I can't act. She's like, her lips like quivering. And it's really good acting by Elizabeth Olsen. And she's like, don't. And she's trying to look away. She's like, she gets like pulled back to like she's like, don't. Like, I can't take it. It's honestly such an emotional scene. Go on.
You must do it. Wanda, please. We are out of time.
Also, quickly. Oh, wait, can you hear me still?
Oh, no, man. You're gone.
Oh, no.
Technology. I'll continue by myself since technology is being a jerk. I can't. Yes, you can. You can. If he gets the stone, half the universe dies. It's not fair. It shouldn't be you, but it is. It's all right. You could never hurt me. I just feel you.
And I'm so sick of this issue going on with my thing. But anyway, it's such a good scene. And a moment where it's like, I just feel you, the callback to the beginning of the movie. If we get an I just feel you moment in WandaVision, oh my God, dude. Please give me that line. That's the fan service I want. So I took some notes specifically on this scene because I think it's so important and such a critical part because she has to kill Vision. Of course, it gets reversed and Thanos brings him back and kills him himself and grabs the stone, which is just even more heart-wrenching because it's like, no, the bad guy is actually winning. The look of joy / relief by Vision, by Paul Bettany, when he feels the stone about to break is just incredible acting. Like, you see the like joy and relief on Vision's face by Paul Bettany when because you start to see the stone actually break. It was like, oh my gosh, she can actually do it, right? Because it was all just a theory before then that she can break it. And he realized like, and that means they're gonna win, right? Like that means he's not gonna get all of them. It doesn't happen that way. Olsen's performance, Elizabeth Olsen, is incredible in this scene. Like I was saying earlier, like I could never do that justice because she's trying to fight the bad guy, but also fight these deep-rooted feelings that she has to do this to actually defeat him. Not just, it's like when you're trying to put something off because you don't want to face something, but you know it's eventually going to come around the corner and you have to deal with the bigger issue because she's trying to just fight Thanos. Oh yeah, hurt him a bit. That's never going to work. You have to destroy the stone in order for it to win. And you see that struggle and her finally give into it because she has to. And it's just her, Thanos, and Vision, and the stone is the one thing, and she's the one thing in between it, right? Yeah, and
literally, man.
Honestly, just an incredible scene. So here's the last thing for Infinity War. This is the worst death of the film, in my opinion. As the others were dusted away and only sort of dead, Vision is dead. And that's the thing with WandaVision, right? Like, Vision doesn't actually come back, right?
Yeah.
You know, shrug, but after this movie, he's dead. Like, it's just over for him. Because they didn't take it out and leave part of Vision behind. He just ripped out half of his skull and left him there to die. And while others dusted away, including Wanda, so there was never any like fault. She couldn't stay by his body. She dusted away. Traumatic moment. But Vision's dead. And that's why WandaVision's gonna be such a who knows what's gonna happen in that show because of that. How he's back. I love that he's back because I love Paul Bettany. Can't wait. Let's move into Endgame, shall we?
Yes. This should be easy.
This is so super quick because Wanda only comes in at the end, and immediately, who are you, Thomas?
I'll let you choose, man. I could do both of these back to back if I had to.
I'll do Thanos.
Okay. You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Oh, I didn't even know that line. It's so good. And so here's the moment where everyone's been losing their minds. Feige's referenced it because it's like, who's the most powerful Avenger? Thanos, in desperation, is like rain fire on his people, on the Avengers, on everyone, because Wanda, after that line, has got him in such a hold with her abilities, like with however you call her abilities, that his straps are pulling off his armor. He's like locked up. You can tell he has nowhere to go, and desperately calls for rain fire because Wanda was about to kill him, right? Wanda was about to rip him in half, which is just incredible. And I think even less so in WandaVision and maybe more so in Doctor Strange is a tease for how her abilities can be used and how powerful she really is. Because from all, we'll see how the second half of WandaVision is, but from all reports so far, we're going to get a lot of the fun sitcom-y stuff in this show coming. Not a lot of big high action. There doesn't even really seem to be much of a villain in this show, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. It's not like, oh, that's the main antagonist, right? Like we have in, say,
not yet,
right? But I think look at her abilities like that. We've seen moments like in Ultron when Pietro dies and the Ultron bots just disintegrate. This was another amazing moment just to show off how powerful Wanda is and how cool her abilities really are. And I can't wait to see them in WandaVision and Doctor Strange. Next line, which is the final bit of our WandaVision recap here.
I wish there was a way that I could let her know that we won. We did it.
She knows. They both do. Such a good moment. And honestly, kind of when I was getting all the notes together for our show, it's like, this is kind of a mentally stable Wanda reaction. She's like, they know. Yeah, they know. But in WandaVision, I don't think we're going to get much mental stability at the beginning of the show or for the entire show.
Grief, for some people, the first stage of grief is shock. And right. She was in shock, broken, and then it's, we're going to kill the guy that killed Vision.
Yeah, let's go.
Purpose now. And then she didn't kill him. And I think that's going to be the start of it. A little bit.
True. Yeah.
But she did destroy his sword, which destroyed the vibranium shield. So there's some thoughts there. That was the thought. That was the whole thought, just so we're clear.
So yeah, that's a really good touching moment. Obviously talking about
and it brings back the Hawkeye, the Wanda Clint relationship,
Correct.
If you go out there, you are an Avenger.
Yep. It's a really good callback to those two, their relationship, and also the relationship we see build even further in Civil War when he's the one that comes and rescues her and pulls her out of the bunker from Vision. There's so many complex backgrounds once you get to this film of all these characters. When you go back and really look at like all the different interactions, especially when you go back into Civil War, where who was against who and all that different stuff. Yeah. Really great moment, and that's it for Wanda and Vision in Infinity War and Endgame. Obviously, the Endgame roles is minimal, but Infinity War really sets up WandaVision. And Thomas, kick it off with you, kick it off with me. What want us to do predictions or just what we're thinking is going to happen in this show? How about just what we think is going to happen in episodes 1 and 2? What are we expecting from this show? How about that?
I'm expecting high comedy of the highest degree. If they let me down, I'm going to boycott the entire show. No, I'm 100% blowing smoke. I do actually expect high comedy. I expect good old fashioned 50s I Love Lucy sitcom stuff. And I just love that. The first 2 episodes, I think, if there's 9 episodes and they're going through 6 decades or something like that, right? Isn't that how many timepieces? We got 5, 50, 60, 70s, 80s, 90s.
More than 5.
Now-ish.
Yeah.
So you know, I think the first 2 episodes will be the 50s and 60s. Okay. I think they'll only go 2 episodes in black and white. Then I think they'll go to color in episode 3. Or actually, at the end of that episode, I think they'll go to color, and it'll be left on like a, well, what do you suppose was that?
Yeah.
That's the hot take. That's the line I think it'll end on. You know, because they watched. Yeah, they watched at the very end. They watched themselves go color, and it's like, well, what do you suppose caused that? You know, like that's, you know, kind of vibe. So, I think that'll probably be what happens in the first 2 episodes. The rest of it, David, what do you think is going to happen in the first 2 episodes?
I would tend to agree with what you're saying, where I think we will get maybe 50s, 60s vibes. I think definitely in the first episode, it's pretty much been confirmed because they've said like, oh, we first one in front of a live audience. That's going to be that really like sitcom-y 1950s. A lot of humor. I think a lot more character dynamic between those two. I'm thinking, hot take, I feel like flashbacks are going to be a thing in this movie. And maybe not just flashbacks, pull outs and look at reality from where they are right now in the show. It may not happen in this episode, but I could be wrong, but I feel like in every episode, we're not just going to be sitting in 1950 sitcom. I think there's got to be, because that's how Marvel always does it. I mean, it's totally new, where this is the first Disney Plus show, but I feel like there's got to be this like pullback moment, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, I not only agree, I can provide evidence of that. In one of the trailers, we hear Agent Wu saying, Wanda, what's going on? Who's doing this to you? And it's coming over a speaker. I think we are going to get that. Whether or not we actually see that is up for debate, but it'll definitely be, hey, by the way, audience that doesn't understand everything going on here, this is not normal, you know.
So, here's my final thing for the first 2 episodes that we're getting on Friday, because we're getting 2, and that's the point. I think we're getting 2 because the first one is going to be literally just like 1950s I Love Lucy ham sitcom setup. Then the second one, by the end of that, we're getting a bit more. We're seeing some of behind the scenes of what's actually happening, or just interactions that are a little off, right? Because that's how we've seen a bit in the trailers too. Just like interactions between them where it doesn't really seem right, or some like almost like malfunctioning of the simulation, which is what it feels like this movie or this show's all going to be about. The nosy neighbor, Monica Rambeau is going to show up at some point, but that seems like it's going to be later on, because that's when they're in their like 70s or 80s outfits, when Monica Rambeau pops up in that one trailer.
Rambeau, not Rando.
Rambeau, yeah, I just mispronounced it.
Be like that.
And we know she'll have a part because she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2, so she's going to have a pretty set up role in this film.
She's a big deal.
I think this show, after episode 3, so going into episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wait, 9. Yeah. I think after episode 3, it's going to be a lot more pulling back the curtain. Whereas in the first 3 episodes, and especially these first 2, I think in the second one we'll get like a glimpse maybe, but I don't think, if you're expecting a action Marvel movie of this show to begin with, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a lot of comedy. It's going to be a lot of character development. It's going to be weird and wacky. And I think that's what they're going for. This wasn't supposed to be the first overtime. This wasn't supposed to be the first phase 4 project. And I think it's for a reason. Feige has now come back and said this is the best way to start it off. I don't think so, just because this is not a safe project. And that's not saying it's going to be bad. I am very excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm saying for a more casual audience, like say Jasmine when watching it on Friday, like what the hell is going on? Right? You know, like what
He's
is
going to be asking you questions that you don't know the answers to because you're also not sure what's going on.
Yeah, and it's going to be this weird, like it's not going to feel like a MCU project really. No. You'll be familiar characters and all that, but I think that's really going to be it. And I'm very excited. I'm amped for the wacky. And come on, guys. Like, final thoughts. This is the first freaking phase 4 project. It's finally here.
Yes! 4 days! I'm sorry, fangirling.
We haven't gotten anything in like 500 some odd days since Spider-Man Far From Home, which feels like it's been out forever. Like, come on. We're finally, whatever it is, we're going to get a Marvel Studios logo for a new piece of content, and I cannot wait. I just wrote an article. It was about how they're doing the weekly releases just like Mandalorian, and how all of the other shows are going to be doing that as well. It's just the Disney Plus way. Unlike Netflix.
It is the way.
Selfishly, I wish WandaVision was all at once. Just because this show, you really have to take a step back and look at the full arc of it to get everything that's happening. It seems like it's going to be like, it'll be pretty tight in when we're just looking at them in the sitcom and all that. But to learn what all is happening, and just because it's been so long since Marvel, oh my gosh, I'm just going to want to keep going. So I'm grateful there's 2 episodes in week 1. That'll give me a good taste of like what's to come and just of Marvel, and plenty for us to talk to on next week's show. But I really wish just for this show, I like it generally because it builds up hype, and it was really fun with Mandalorian, the weekly releases. But man, just because it's been so long, and we know this show is going to really have a interesting ending for sure. It's going to, we know it ties right into Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wish we could just watch it all at once. But I'm excited to wrap it up whenever it will in late February, early March.
Early March. It should be 1 week between this and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep. Thomas, any final thoughts with WandaVision? We will have it to speak on next week.
I am ready. My body has gone through strong Marvel drug withdrawals, and I need my Marvel drugs at Disney. And again, here's a fan theory that I've said a couple different times here now.
Thunderbolts.
We might be okay. First off, yes, not for this show. If we get it in this show, consider me 100% unexpected. That wasn't even a proper sentence. That's how caught off guard I will be if they show up. This could be Marvel content, and it with Legends, it should be every single week starting last Friday. We'll have Marvel content every fucking week, bro.
No, I think there's going to be a break in between this and Falcon. 1 week.
1 week. Legends. Right.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So that'll be we'll get that.
Good point.
Here's the crazy part, bro. Like whether or not they have another one announced after that one ends, that'll be 6 weeks for Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that should take us into about May. I'm going to do the math right here live, ladies and gentlemen. Comes out March 12th or 19th? 19th.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then there'll be. Is that May 2nd? What? Oh, I was in the wrong month.
May 7th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. April 30th will be 1 week in between the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier and the start of Black Widow. So that means April 30th, we should probably be getting Marvel Legends on Black Widow. And then it comes out on the 7th. And then they could literally start May 14th, May 21st. I'm calling it right here, right now. May 21st will be the start of Loki. And after Black Widow on the 7th, on the 14th, they'll do a Loki Legends. And then I'm calling it. I called it. That's my big take.
There
Obviously,
it is.
About WandaVision, but that's the big take, baby.